So we are going to do a full engine startup, and then we're going to test the systems. I'm with owner Brett today, and it's changeable condition, so it's going to be a real test. I think we will go straight up to the C-zone. So some of you are going to be familiar with the C-zone system. If you're not, it's essentially a time saver. So if you are coming from a sailboat and you're used to setting up all of your 12 volt batteries and potentially your 240 volt system, this takes some of the thinking out of it for you. So we're currently on dock unattended, and all we're going to do is just activate day cruising just there. So on this one, it's slightly different to the ribs. Boom, there you go. Activate, acknowledge. Okay, so what that's done, and correct me if I'm missing anything on this setup, Brett, is we've just switched on all the relevant systems that are required for us to operate the boat for the day. So now we can just do a main engine startup.
Yeah, you'll hear the fans automatically come on for the engines in preparation for the engines turn on.
Yep.
Yeah, so now we just come to the station, and obviously we click to make sure that we are on station here. We then go down to the start mechanism, which are keyless, and we push start for port. Start.
Now we already activated the ignitions, and this Volvo system does come with a security key fob, and we had already deactivated the key fob. So depending where you are in the world, you may or may not desire to use that. So we'll probably need to acknowledge. Great. So now essentially we want to do a systems test because we've got hydraulic bow and stern thrusters on this one. We're running shaft drives, big 5-blade props, straight shafts, but we do have joystick docking. So if some of you have seen on my videos this same joystick system through IPS, that's not the case on this boat. We are a shaft drive boat. So we're going to be transferring to the wing station, and we'll do a systems check there, and then you can take command and I will release the lines, and then we'll actually just go and do a practice touch and go.
Sounds good.
So taking command, we've got a wing station on starboard. On this setup, it should just be...
So then to activate this, we have to obviously go into docking mode.
I'm pretty sure you press the top left.
Yeah, that's it. So top left, on. How about that?
There you go. Okay, so Brett, why don't you take command, and as I'm flying the drone, and let's do a touch and go alongside your dock, and we'll just talk to everyone as we proceed in.
Roger.
I'm on your port side, so I'm filming everything. And we've left the fenders out. So in terms of stowing the fenders, you like to stow them up on the flybridge, but the lazarette, optional lazarette, because it could be a crew cabin, is massive. Yeah. And you can see we've also got the extended swim platform, the hydraulic swim platform on this one. So to be honest, you could store them from the bow to the swim platform to the flybridge to the lazarette. So you've got more than enough options. So if any of you guys looking at us from Europe who need extra fenders for your Mediterranean style mooring, you've got bucket loads of space. It's not a drama.
Yeah.
Question, what if someone wanted to install a wing station up on the flybridge?
Totally, yeah. I mean, there is the station on the flybridge.
Yep.
As well, with the docker.
But if you wanted one
on the
out
wing,
back aft.
for sure.
Yeah. Okay, I'll just come around so everyone can see where we're going. For those of you that haven't been to Tasmania, you've got to get down here. It is beautiful. I've been told not to tell anyone how nice it is because they don't want too many people here. But it's genuinely one of the most beautiful places I've ever sailed into.
Beautiful waterways to cruise in.
Absolutely stunning. It's the beaches here are just...
require a wetsuit.
Yes, cooler.
Not in summer.
They're incredibly beautiful. The
in summer, the water is typically around 20 degrees.
Oh, that's not so bad.
Yeah, and then in winter, tens.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a really stunning, a lot of nature here, a fantastic boating environment. We're just discussing the dangers before we left the marina, and basically there are none. It's just deep water. There's a lot of deep water, not much to hit. So from a boating perspective, it's fantastic.
So I'm going to, so we could go in there just under normal Morse, and just go in there and just spin it on the spot, and I'm comfortable doing it from here because I can see the rear of the boat.
Yeah.
But if there's a bit more wind, we would go to the wing station at the rear, and I'd reverse in and get the stern first.
Well, let's pretend there is more wind and just.
Well, there's a bit.
There is a little bit, yeah. All right, so Brett's just spinning the boat now. So I note that the keel provides enough resistance and enough resistance to make the boat feel predictable, but not so much that you need to rev the hell out of it to get it moving. Some boats that I've tested that are full keel, deep draft, and twin engines, you have to put a great deal of engine power just to get them moving, where this is a bit of a happy medium. So she's tracking nicely. That appears to track quite nicely in reverse.
Yeah, no, very easy to steer.
Yeah.
Like, it'll just track, it doesn't wander.
Yeah, I can see.
And on auto helmets, just so easy as well. On our left here is the famous casino, the first casino in Australia.
The first casino, we're a gambling nation of gamblers. So they even encourage us at school. They did when I was a kid to bet on the horses. I don't know if that's still a thing.
Yeah, I think it is. It stopped for Melbourne Cup Day.
I don't know. Jump in the comments if that's the same in your country, but when I was on the rowing team in high school, we were encouraged to drink beer and go rowing, and then
I don't think that's changed
bet on
either.
the horses.
Same.
That was the 1990s, though. I think everyone's too politically correct these days.
Kids don't drink anymore.
We were supposed to row boats, drink beer, bet on horses, and go surfing. Anyway.
So from here, if it's typically it's blowing out of the left here, which is the west predominant breeze.
Yep.
Now we've got a bit of southwest, so it's it's doing a bit of
blow on as
opposed to blow on,
off.
a bit of blow off. So I would just bring the stern in like that.
Yep.
I would pick up that because it's blowing off, so there's no risk of hitting.
Yep.
And pick up that stern line and then just nudge it forward.
This would be a two-person operation, right? You'd get someone.
Totally. But you could do it by yourself. I'm absolutely confident that you could do it by yourself
because you've got the dockmate control system, so you could. And I suppose with this railing here, you could stand here and still feel safe.
Yeah.
Because even with a bit of boat wind movement, it's not a drama. Well, let's just touch and go there. I'll come around the transom so everyone can see. Yeah, now you could pick me up on the drone there. So with the remote control, guys, this might be the place to do it if you were going to solo the boat into the dock.
Yeah.
And now I've got a good line of sight.
Just slowing it up.
It's just gently
Yeah.
It's funny, the bigger the boats get, in some respects, the easier they are to maneuver.
As long as you've got good gear.
Yeah. So, clearly, plenty of time to step off here. This is useful from a safety aspect, and then getting access through here. The only thing I found when releasing the lines, I wanted to reach my arm through and grab.
Yeah, so the next model, I love this because it acts as scuppers as well to get rid of water.
That's a good point.
But we are putting optional on top as well.
Okay.
Because it can be difficult, especially if ladies are involved.
Because I just wanted to put the line on the hook there.
And it tempts you to drop it.
Yeah. Okay, all right, well then you've thought about that. All right, let's push off and... Yeah, with technology like this, we're now manoeuvring 70-foot boats like 50-foot boats.
Totally. And you don't need a lot of experience.
No.
Like, I don't come from motorboats.
Yeah, you're a sailor.
This is all new to me.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah, I also came from sailing before I got into motorboats, and it was... In those days, I was dealing with different drive systems, and to be honest, it was a bit scary.
Yeah. I mean, it is a
clear on port.
Bit, but I tell you what, I am putting on the next one is, you know, those cameras you can get for the cars, like God's Eye.
The camera systems are fantastic.
I'm putting that on.
Yeah.
You could sit here and just look at it.
Yeah. Once again, you're all clear. 10 meters on port.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, another super easy option to fit.
Oh,
and
so easy.
That's just that's a definite marriage saver.
It's whatever you can do to make life easy. Same with the anchor camera. We put an anchor camera on this.
Yeah.
Bluetooth, and it's...
So you don't have to go forward and look at the chain.
You can just see it. It's just perfect. You can see the dolphins. Bloody...
Yeah. All right, so let's put this boat through her paces. I think that's us next. I'll swap drone batteries, and next we're going to show you guys the speeds and fuel flows, and we'll see how she is through this less than perfect weather day. Okay guys, in some ways I actually prefer boat tests on days like today. I know everyone loves to see the sunny pictures, but those of you who are buying boats are not always going to be out in the perfect weather. So this gives us a wonderful opportunity to just see what it's like on a windy, a wet, and at times short and sharp, choppy stuff kind of day. Just letting you know, we have a full load of fuel on board. So we've got a little bit over 6,000 litres. We're a 57 tonne boat, so let's assume we're in the low 60s gross at the moment. I'm just clearing the point here, just come back on my tracks. We'll go into the wind, and I'm going to run you through the fuel flow and speed return, and we will actually wind the boat up to full speed a little bit later in the video. I've got a little lighthouse where I'm going to use as my marker, and we'll go around that. We might just build the speed going into the wind now. Going into it, we've probably got about 15 knots consistent at the moment, and building as we exit even further. So currently just 8 knots GPS speed, 1,250 RPM, and I'm going to just wind it up, and then we'll do some of the slower stuff a little bit later. We'll just go from 8 straight to 9, then we might have a look at 10 knots. So average fuel, 7 litres per nautical mile, and we're using about 60 litres an hour in total. And I'll just wind that speed up from, we've just closed the back door, so that's your experience with all the doors closed. And from 9.5, I'm going to get the boat straight to 10 knots, 1,450, 1,500 RPM. I'm just letting the boat catch up. On these bigger boats, everything happens a little bit slower, so I don't need to necessarily look for instant feedback like you get on a smaller boat. Okay, 10 knots, 10 and a half knots actually at 1500 RPM. So 1500 RPM into the wind at 10.3 to 10.5 knots. Total fuel flow is 90 litres. That's 8.7 litres per nautical mile, tracking really nicely. And now that we're going into some of the short and sharp stuff, we're taking a little bit of spray. Most of it's being displaced, but I think there is an argument at some point, depending on the sea state, for you to move to the flybridge. We will do that in a second, but I just want to wind the speed up a little bit more. Engine noises, remembering it's a shaft drive, are quite low, to be fair. It's quite low. This is not intrusive. You could hold a conversation. You could also communicate with people. Obviously, you can have your navigator right next to you just here, but communication back aft from a social perspective is going to be easy. And also from a situational awareness perspective, nothing's happening too quick as opposed to another style of boat or other styles of boats where you do need to be thinking a lot faster. 1,600 RPM, I'm seeing almost 10 litres per nautical mile. There you go, 10 litres now per nautical mile, and that's a total fuel flow of 110 litres an hour. And let's look at 1,700 RPM. We're climbing through 11 knots. That's actually 750 now. That feels kind of comfortable there, so I'm just going to go with it. I've got 11.5 knots at the moment. Very comfortable at the helm. Obviously I can transition if I was on autopilot. Oh, woo, that's super comfy. Oh my God, that's really nice actually. So you could just do autopilot. I think I need to do something with my little legs here, but that's resolvable, I'm sure. This has got full adjustability, up, down, forward, back, and that's really comfy. Oh, I like that. Okay, that's good. But for the purpose of the exercise, I like standing right now. And I'm going to take this turn after we've cleared this little lighthouse here. Hope you enjoy all the beautiful views. Pretty much everyone in Hobart has a water view. It's a really nice city. Okay, just going to come around. See, that's where these windows are great compared to some of the trawlers where you have smaller ports and you're kind of a little bit cluttered as you look aft. I think the people that will value a boat like this are probably still going to have other things going on in their lives, and they will want something that they can just take out and enjoy for those weekends and still get it back in the marina and go and do other stuff, as opposed to people who just want to cruise for months at a time. You can do that, but I'm not saying it's not necessary. Okay, got stabilization active. We're just going beam to the sea at the moment, and we're going to go from here. We're going to run down, and then I'm going to actually give it one little blast. But what I think I will do from this point, once I'm clear and going down swell or downwind, I'm going to wind the boat up to wide open, and we'll just see how she feels. But everything's happening quite in a predictable manner, not alarming whatsoever. Some boats can be. So you really want to test every boat that you get your hands on. Some boats can really throw you, but even through that turn, I gave it a little bit more rudder than I ordinarily would, but she didn't lean too much. The stabilization was active, and I know that they've got additional lead in the keel here, so that's giving us a better center, a lower center of gravity, which I just felt in that turn. So solid fiberglass construction in the hull, with foam core in the superstructure. The lead additional, I'm feeling it, is what I'm trying to convey to you. Whereas boats that are going foam core all the way up, these conditions would be moving us around to an extent where it may become tiring for you on longer journeys. So that's nice. We'll just go through these. These are our own ways. We'll go through these. As soon as I've done that, we'll just transition to the flybridge and we'll see what the view is like from up there. But these waves are on us now, so they're just going to start impacting with the hull, and they're hitting us on the beam on the port side, and hopefully you can see through there. Look at that, through camera 2. The boat hardly moves. So that's conducive to a relaxing time on board. In transit, and at rest. You really are creating yourself quite a comfortable environment when a boat can take a big chunk of water like that and hardly move. I think that's one of the points that you really want to have a think about. All right, I'll move from here. I'm actually going to come back into neutral so I can then take command from the flybridge, and we will wind the speed all the way up. Okay, so I took command by engaging neutral downstairs, pressing station upstairs, and then obviously I've got control and I've just accelerated. We're currently just cruising along at 9.8 knots. And from here, I'm gonna have to, there's my RPM, 1500 RPM and 10 knots. Let's get the boat all the way up to wide open throttle. And this is where some of you who are looking at displacement only cruises need to consider whether this is a benefit to you or not, because we have the possibility. I'm pushing through 1900, 12 knots and climbing. I'm just going to sit it there now, 13 knots and climbing. Remember, I have a full load of fuel on board, 6,000 litres. And let's go all the way up. 2,000, 2,100, 2,200, 14 knots, 14 and a half knots, 15 knots. Okay, now I'm foot to the floor. That's full throttle there, 16 knots, 2,330 litres, 300 litres of fuel consumption, and 16 knots and climbing. So I would say with a half load of fuel on board, we're probably gonna get 18, maybe 19 knots. With full fuel, obviously we're carrying a lot more weight, so that's not gonna be possible. But even that, at 16 and a half knots, wide open throttle, 2,350 RPM, that's giving us the ability to run home if the weather has changed or is about to, whereas you just don't have that option if you're a displacement only vessel. And you just got to consider whether that's okay, or whether that's going to be suitable for you or not. Driving from this station, if we're taking some waves on board, we're going to have much better visibility from up here. We do have a commanding view. These pillars are a bit thick, so they do reduce your views a little bit from a close quarters maneuvering perspective. So then you may consider it better to transition downstairs. But from a cruising perspective, I like this position because, once again, these seats are fantastic. That's really comfortable. That's commanding. Yeah, I can keep a good eye on my systems from here. I've got the possibility to have twin screens just there. So this is quite a comfortable position, lots and lots of space. This is going to be totally fine for you big blokes who are really tall. And let's just proceed in now. Not much rudder or turn on the wheel necessary because it's only a 1.5 turns to full lock. So she is responsive, and now I'm just going to go beam to that sea there. And what we will do is actually stop the boat and then test it with the active fin stabilization disengaged, and then we will re-engage that fin stabilization just to see how much movement we are knocking off. Okay, just backing off, just checking my stern wave there. I think you could benefit from the installation of you could just get the Garmin or Raymarine, whatever you set it up with, the cameras, just to give you aft visibility. We've got enough screen real estate here to build them in. It's just a plug and play setup these days, so it's very easy to do. But I think that's going to be probably of value to most of you. I like to have visibility on the swim platform. And a little story, if any of you have the time, there is a $50,000 tender, a brig, brand new, floating around somewhere on Bass Strait. It was so rough, this boat coming across from the mainland, across Bass Strait down here to Tassie, a big wave swept it straight off the swim platform. So it's somewhere in the Southern Ocean. It's probably in New Zealand by now. But the boat was fine. It was just the tender straps and everything just snapped, and she was gone ski, which does happen off the coast of Australia here because we get really big seas. So that's just a little indication of what the boat is capable of. So let's just bring her to a standstill. Yeah, quite a pleasant space here. I understand why they would have gone for the enclosed fly in this part of the world. And you know, I would even do it in the tropics too, because you can, as we have got these vents here, you can air condition this whole space. It just means it's an all year round boat, as opposed to those of you who are setting up for the Mediterranean style, or arguably Sydney, where you want the open flybridge to utilize the sunny days. Okay, great. So I'm going to go from here down to the lower helm and we'll play around with that stabilization. Okay, stabilization is off. The fins are locked in the forward position now, and I've done a little bit of drone. You might be able to get a better perspective through camera 1 and 2 with the way I've set them up. I just want you to line them up against the land that you can see through the window and just feel the boat starting to develop a little bit of a rock. To be fair, her form stability is pretty good. That's coming down to my earlier point that we picked up on the weight down low. She's naturally not developing too much of a rock, but that's probably about the most we're going to get there. It is short wind chop coming through at the moment that would absolutely rock around a lighter boat quite aggressively in these conditions. But now I'm going to activate stabilization. So they're just waking up now, starting, give it a second, and now they're working. And that's a marked difference if you look at the horizon from here. So form stability is already very good, but even better. So those of you or anyone in your group who's susceptible to seasickness, this is a good setup to have, because naturally the boat is quite heavy. She's got quite low center of gravity. She seems to have good form stability. You add those active fin stabilizations and you've basically got a luxury house on the water. So that's really good and noticeable. All right, how does she perform? What is your life going to be like operating a boat like this, and where does she fit sort of in the market? Actually, I'm going to sit. I want you to enjoy these backgrounds. This is just a beautiful town, this. Yeah, this is a predictable vessel to run. What do I mean by that? She doesn't overtake you in terms of the systems that you are required to operate. The boat doesn't get ahead of you and clutter your mind. Some boats do that because they can be so complex, or the workload required to keep them on course is just requiring more attention from you. This boat just goes straight, she goes good, she's plenty heavy, and I'm going to consider that an advantage for those of you who are in the market for something like this. Therefore, she is comfortable. She doesn't get affected so much by the waves and the swell impacting with the boat. Add the stabilization, it's even better. Cruising around at displacement speeds, this is a lot of boat, and the fuel that we are using, from that 30 to 100 litres per hour, is totally acceptable, depending on those 6 to 10 sort of knots, 10, 12 knots, and then winding it up to the wide open throttle if you need to run away for some weather, or if you just want to get home. I think that is a big advantage for some of you, and if you've only ever come from the 6 to 8 knot sailing speed world, it's going to be a huge life change. But also, if you're used to a faster cruiser and it's your first time into a big motor yacht, then your expectations of going fast are still going to be there. So it's a nice happy middle point. So yeah, I think if you are that person, if you are looking for something that can be managed with 2 people, I wouldn't necessarily be running this solo unless you are experienced and know what you're doing, or unless you work with the factory or your dealer and make sure you have a berth that you can confidently park. I wouldn't just go running something like this by myself without the appropriate training. In saying that, after you know what you're doing, yes, you might be able to get it on and off the dock confidently, but I would suggest most of the time, two people are going to be a lot happier. A husband and wife, essentially. You don't need to use any physical strength. You can just benefit from the thrusters, get the boat where you need it to be, take the lines off, dump them, off you go. So it's that sort of operation. And she compares quite honestly and fairly with a lot of the other brands in this niche or in this range. So I think if you are in Australia, in the Southern Hemisphere, where this brand is known, it's definitely worth getting on a plane and coming to the boat show or having a look, because if you are someone with that mindset and wanting to do that style of cruising, I think this is a platform that's going to do it for you just fine. If you want to get on my Patreon and ask me direct questions, you're very welcome to. We're now doing video answers up there. You can also get access to some merch. I will post a competing boat up on the screen any second now, and go and do your own comparisons, because I'm not selling any of these. It's up to you to do your own research. I just drive these boats for you to make up your own mind. Links are down below in the description. I hope that was useful. And please jump in the comments if you're an owner or if you're a purchaser and you have questions, because lots of guys are getting into the community and providing feedback or answers if I haven't got around to answering myself. Keep doing it. It's really useful. That's what we're doing on here. I encourage more. And I'll see you on the next one, guys. Thanks again. Coming from beautiful Tasmania. See you on the next one.